Another amazing episode of Strategizing for Your Success. I am just blessed and thrilled and thankful that you are taking just a few minutes to join me this week as we explore God's plan for our health and wellness. But before we get started, I just wanted to thank everybody who took the time to come out on Tuesday to our monthly motivational meeting. We had such a blast. I hope everybody else had a blast. I had an absolute blast. We had so much fun, so much to celebrate, so many great things going on. I'll pull out the map. We passed out our monthly action plan for October. It is filled with great recipes, goal setting. I want everybody to make sure they are doing that, to make sure you are setting your goals for the week, a mini devotion, and then of course the brand new recipes that we share each and every month. This month, probably some of my favorites. It's my favorite time of year, the fall, and some of my favorite recipes. I'll just give you a hint. I love slow cooker recipes, and we are all about the slow cooker in October. For me, the simplicity of a slow cooker, the smells, just everything about slow cooker recipes just make me happy. And we tested out our white chicken chili at the meeting, and it was fabulous. Just got great reviews. Everybody loved it. I love it. And for those who were wondering, we were talking about it toward the end of the meeting because that recipe was cooking up all day in my house, and my poor husband came home and he was like, "Ooh, that smells good." And I was like, "Ooh, not for you." But no worries. He was able to have that the next day, which I think slow cooker recipes are often better the day after. So he was able to have that the next day, and he loved it too. So Tim got some of the white chicken chili. But for everybody who tuned in our live stream, watched us on YouTube, tuned in on Facebook, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot do this without you, without our Equip for More family, without our viewers. We just cannot do this without your engagement. It just wouldn't work. So we are so very grateful. We had so much to celebrate that night too. And I just want to get to one of these. We were able to celebrate a special award. And this is special because with our family growing and expanding, we have members now. We've said this before, and as far south as Florida, as far west as Washington. And so with our members kind of beginning to scatter across the country, a lot of times I have to send awards in the mail. And I love doing that. There's nothing like giving an award in person. And so on Tuesday, we were able to present this beautiful lady with her 10-pound keychain and charm. She doesn't live too close. She lives up in Fairfield, so that's a good 45 minutes from here. And so she took the time to come down and be in person with us, brought her friend Sarah, who is now a member in our Equip for More family. So welcome to you too, Sarah. It was a pleasure to meet you. So blessed to be able to give this award to Jessica. And she also shared a brief testimony about her journey. And so if you didn't get to tune in or you weren't there in person, go back and watch, because I just want you to see, sometimes we feel so alone in this journey. And I want you to know that if you struggle, if your journey has been slow, take a listen to her testimony. But it was so much fun. We just had a great time in the Lord, a great time of fellowship. And then we had an amazing word from one of our small group leaders and faithful family members, Debbie Wood. Her and her husband, JR, and their daughter, Christy, and other extended family members are all part of our Equip for More family. And the picture she showed, just reminiscing about where God has brought both her and JR and their daughter, Christy, is just astounding. I don't even know the weight that the three of them have lost collectively. I'm sure it's well over 100 pounds, but they are doing amazing. Debbie recently, in a slump in her journey, which many of us get into, but in a slump in her journey recently, had a great revelation from the Lord. She shared that with us, and it's definitely worth watching again, even if you were there or you tuned in. And now, getting ready to move on into our topic, we've got some other great news. God has been so faithful since we took the plunge and decided, and not really decided, it wasn't our decision, it was all God. But since we obeyed the call, I guess I should say, God has just been so faithful to providing for us. And this is one of the latest ways He is providing for us. We have been approved as a ministry to connect and partner with Kroger Community Rewards. And many of you know what this is. This is basically just taking your Kroger Plus card and designating a ministry to receive a donation, a quarterly donation from Kroger based on your purchases. And so, whether you're a member or not, it does not matter. If you have a Kroger card, if you have a Kroger Plus card, you can designate Equip for More Ministries as the ministry that you want to see Kroger donate to on a quarterly basis. So one of the things I want to tell you is that if you're tuning in and you're watching this and you've already done this, please let your family and friends know, hey, if you don't already support a ministry, this is a great one you can support. I do want to stress that we are not trying to solicit you and ask you to change ministries. So if you already donate to a ministry, you're connected with a school, you're connected with a church or another organization, do not change that. That's not what we're all about. But if you're not, and you would like to connect your Kroger card to our ministry, we would greatly appreciate it. Again, you do not have to be a member in our program. You just need to have a Kroger card. Kroger will donate to us quarterly. It won't cost you a dime other than what you're already spending by going to the grocery stores. And we have said this before, but just in time for the holidays, it can't hurt to remind everyone that Amazon is another organization that we partner with to receive donations from. And again, it doesn't cost you a dime. You just connect your Amazon account on smile.amazon.com. Again, that's smile.amazon.com. You can designate Equip for More Ministries as the ministry you would like Amazon to donate to quarterly. And again, they just donate 1% of every penny you spend on their site to our organization. So 2 great ways to partner with us, but it doesn't cost you a dime. So if you could do that for us, we would so appreciate it. So as you can see, God is paving the way to provide for our ministry, and we are so excited, and we're excited every single week. I am to bring you this strategy meeting, and today I'm very excited for the topic that we have planned for you in Strategizing for Success. And I've got to preface this by letting you know where I got the inspiration for this topic. So I'm in a ministry class at church, Advanced School of Ministry, and weekly we are listening to a podcast, and it's called the Gerald Brooks Leadership Podcast. I got to give credit where credit is due. We're listening to the Gerald Brooks Leadership Podcast every single week. And this gentleman, Mr. Brooks, Gerald Brooks, is an expert on leadership and what makes a successful leader. Okay. And fret not, I am getting to how this relates to your weight loss and your walk with the Lord. And you are going to be motivated and inspired, I promise. I definitely was. So every podcast that we listen to from him is about developing your leadership skills and abilities. And this past week, we listened to one entitled Levels of Leadership. And so I'm telling you, as I was listening to this and his points about moving from level to level in leadership, I could not believe how relevant and how much it translated into what we do, what we teach, what we try to impart to those who listen to us, and how improving and moving forward as a leader is so much like growing in your faith and understanding what it takes to lose weight and keep it off. And that is the big question for so many of you. I know it is. How do everybody knows how to lose weight, and you've all done it from time to time. I did it 1,000 times before I lost it and kept it off. And that's the big secret. How do you lose it and keep it off? And so I felt like this podcast, the topic in this podcast was so relevant to how you not just move forward in something or in your goals, but how you stay and how you achieve those goals and stay at that level. You don't revert back, you don't fall backwards. And definitely true for weight loss. How do I lose the weight and keep it off? And so, I want to talk to you about that. So in this particular, and this is where we're going to get into our topic. Our topic today is entitled From Struggle to Strength, because this journey for so many people is a struggle day in and day out. That's why we start, stop, begin and quit. And so I want to talk to you about how you can move away from the struggle of weight loss into the strength of success day after day after day. Finding your strength to succeed every day. That's what I want to leave you with today. And what struck me most in this particular podcast was that when Mr. Brooks was identifying what the highest level of leadership is, and he terms that significant, terms its significance, it's how you get to that level. So I just want to share with you quickly what the levels of leadership are and how they are kind of relevant. But then the gist of what we're going to go into is this strategy for growth that I want to talk to you about. But these levels of leadership, there are levels in a person moving forward, and not just as a leader. I feel like these are relevant to life. And the first level is survival, where a person or a leader is always focused on the problem. And for many of us, we can relate. It's just like we go from one problem to the next, right? We just hop from one problem to the next. We put out one fire and then we see another one up ahead or another one burning over here. So we're just constantly focusing on the problems and how to solve the day in, day out problems. And we never really get to our full level of potential when we live in this survival mode, because that's all we're doing is surviving. We are not thriving. We are just surviving. So if you feel like that today, please stick around, because I want to share with you how to get out of that by the end of the next 15 minutes. I want to share with you how to get out of that. But we are surviving and not thriving. It's day-to-day survival, and it's constant distraction. We are constantly being distracted by all the fires and all the issues and all the situations that are around us. And that's why we cannot learn to thrive. If you can figure out how to move out of survival mode, Mr. Brooks says you can, as a leader, move into success mode. And I think you can do this as a person too. It's a natural progression. If we can learn how to grow in our faith and learn how to deal with conflict and deal with issues, we can move out of, thank God, survival mode into success mode. And this is where in life, we're still dealing with these issues, but we're experiencing some success, and the day-to-day distractions don't get to us like they used to. And we're seeing opportunities for growth. We're embracing those because we're not constantly distracted by the fires. So we're embracing this potential to grow and this potential to thrive a little more. And that probably sounds good to a lot of you, especially if you're in survival mode right now. You're like, okay, I'll take success and just put me there and I can live there forever. But can I tell you, that's not where you're supposed to live either. That's not where this is supposed to end. You are supposed to continue to move on to a level that he calls significance. And that's when my life is not just about me, but it's about how I can impact you. I'm not bothered by the distractions of this world around me. I just want to see people saved and going to heaven. And that's where we are all supposed to live, not just as leaders, but in life. We are supposed to, and the Bible teaches us that our main goal, we just got new shirts in this past week, and I wish we were able to show this at our motivational meeting, because a dear friend of mine and part of our family, Pat Beavers, was the first one to pick up one of these shirts. But it's the coolest shirt. It's got like a map and a compass on it. And at the bottom, it says, "Go ye into all the world." And that is our mission in life. We are to go into all the world, preach the gospel so that they can be saved. That's the level we're trying to get to. That's the level. And you don't have to be a leader to be trying to get here, just a follower of Christ. We are supposed to move out of survival mode, move past just being successful, and get to a level of significance. It was fascinating to me, though, that he shared these statistics that leaders, for the most part, 60% of leaders will stay in survival mode. And I dare say that that is true across the board, that 60% of followers of Christ will stay in survival mode. We're just trying to figure out how to get through the next problem. And then 30% of us might move on to success and live there, but a whopping 30%. That's all. Only 30% of us are living successful lives. And what's worse is this last statistic, 10% of us will move into that realm of significance where we're really impacting the world for Christ. And I want to tell you this, that part of the problem that we as Christians, take out leadership roles, but we as Christians are not developing to where we should develop is our weight, both physical and emotional. Your physical weight is keeping you down physically, whether it's keeping you sick, it's keeping you tired, it's keeping you lazy, it's keeping you lethargic, and your emotional weight is keeping you eating. It's keeping you bound in that cycle of eating and overeating and gluttony. It's not always just about the food. In fact, most often it's not about the food. It's about the weight that causes us to eat the food. The weight that you are living with physically is a byproduct of the other weight that you're carrying around. And if we can address that, if we can get beyond that, the weight of your physical body and the emotional weight would literally fall off. And that's what I want to help you do today. That's what I want to help you do today, because I think so many of you are tuning in going, my gosh, yes, but how? How? You're speaking to my heart. I know I got to get past this bitterness, this hurt, this anger, this fear, this frustration, this worry. I've got to get past this, but how? But how? So that's where the strategies of this podcast and what I want to share with you today are going to take you. That's where we're going to go today. And there's one word I want you to focus on. It's called growth. You've got to focus on this word. You've got to embrace this word. Many of us, if not, these statistics tell it, 90% of us are stagnant in some area. We're just sitting here waiting for somebody else to take care of the problem, or we're just too tired to take care of the problem. We're just waiting. We're just dealing with the fires. And we've got to embrace this word called growth. And you and me, we have to create a climate in our lives where growth can take place. You cannot wait for your spouse or your kids or your boss to create the climate where you can grow. You've got to create the climate where you can grow and thrive. And it matters not what's going on around you. There will always be fires. There will always be struggles and situations. It's just whether or not you have created a climate to not be distracted by the ones that can't burn you, and to focus on the situations that can catapult you past those fires and can catapult you to a level of significance. We've got to create a climate also where we can grow healthier every day. We cannot live in a climate that promotes gluttony and poor eating habits and expect to lose weight. We've got to create the climate in our homes, in our kitchens, in our cars, in our workplaces where we can grow. One thing we always teach here at E4M is that living healthy is a lifestyle. It is not a diet. Please don't ever call this a diet, because you will never get anywhere if you do. If you expect to start and stop a healthy lifestyle, you will never get where God really intended for you to go. This is a lifestyle that you must embrace. It's part of that climate. You've got to create a lifestyle that promotes healthy living. And when people continually want to live healthy part of the time and not the other, that's why it never works. We say, well, I want to live healthy, today, but tomorrow I'm going on vacation, so I can't live healthy then. Or, I want to live healthy up until my daughter's wedding because I want to look good in that wedding. But after that, oh well. We can't do that. That's just like saying, I want God in half my life, but not the other. I want God in my home and when I go to church, but I don't want him around on Friday night when I want to go out and do other things. I don't want him around there. Eventually, you will crash and burn. Mark my words. I lived that life. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing if you want to get beyond survival, beyond just success, and into a life where you impact and change the people around you. Some of you are desperate to change the people around you, but you're not living in a way that will help change them. You're living in survival mode. You've got to create that climate of growth. And I want to share with you Mr. Brooks' strategies just real quickly for creating this climate of growth, because it's the same climate that we need to create a climate of healthy living. And the first of these is, and not just to create a climate of healthy living. Don't miss the importance of how relevant this is in your walk with God in your everyday life. So it matters not if you're on here and you need to lose 50 pounds or your weight is not an issue. If you are living in survival mode, these strategies are for you to move beyond and into the significant and successful and strong life that God wants you to live in. Number one, I have got to be on fire for God if I want the wisdom of God to change my life. Are you desperate for God to change your life and change your situation, move you out of debt, heal relationships, give you deliverance? If you are, then you have got to get on fire for God. All too often, we want God to move mountains for us when we're doing so little for him and we're doing so little to get to know him. Listen, church attendance, the occasional Bible study, and fleeting prayer will not transform your life. It won't transform mine. If you want a transformed life, you've got to get close to the one who can transform your life. Things are transformed by heat and pressure, right? So I've got to develop a burning desire and pressure to know and serve God if I want to see the miraculous take place in my life. Quit praying simple prayers. Go big. Get big for God. Go after his miracles, but get on fire for him. And if you're not on fire right now, that's okay. Pray for that fire. Say, God, light a fire in my soul to know you. He will do it. He answers the fervent prayers of the righteous. He comes to those who call on him, but get on fire for him. Secondly, gratitude is key if you want to create a climate for healthy living, for a bolder walk with God, and for a transformation in your life. Gratitude is key because gratitude reminds me that God has been faithful. David often spoke of a grateful heart in many of the Psalms that he wrote, and he constantly reminded himself that God had been faithful to him. In Psalm 37, he said, I was once young, now I am old, but I have never seen the righteous forsaken, or God's seed begging for bread. When we focus on our problems, it's easier to wonder, is God going to come through? I don't know. If I'm constantly focused on my problems and what's wrong in my life, it's easy for me to wonder if God's going to come through for me. But if I focus on gratitude that says he always has, and yes, he always will. He's never forsaken me. And I can say that right now. God has never forsaken me. He may not have answered prayers exactly the way I wanted him, but I have seen his hand in my life every single day of my life. Every single day, and I am grateful. And I want to create a climate of gratitude so that I can remember that God will still be faithful even today, right now. I need to see God. If you need to see God, then you need to be grateful for what he has done, so you know what he will continue to do. The third strategy, and this is a fabulous strategy if you are needing to jumpstart your weight loss, if you're needing to see change in your weight, ask yourself the tough questions. This is important for people who are trying to lose weight because we are rationalizers by nature. We are constantly saying, I don't know why I'm up 3 pounds. I didn't eat that much. I should be able to eat a cookie, shouldn't I? I deserve this. We are constantly rationalizing why we should be able to have what really we don't need and what we did eat when really, in fact, we ate more. We've got to start asking ourselves the tough questions. The questions like, am I really being honest about what I ate? Because truth be told, if you journal it and you get real on paper, 9 times out of 10, you haven't been honest. I can say that with 100% accuracy because I live that too. I know how we rationalize how much we ate and when we ate and all those different things. I know that. And we've got to ask ourselves, am I being honest? Am I really trying? Are you really? Are you really trying? Because I've never seen anyone really try and not lose weight. I just haven't seen it. I've never seen anyone really be honest and not be successful. So do yourself a favor. Ask yourself the tough questions. And fourth, and this was the fourth strategy in creating a climate of growth from Mr. Brooks, and he says this, untangle the knots. And I'm kind of paraphrasing and making it relevant to what we do here at E4M, but quit getting tangled up in the things that keep you stuck in a cycle of emotional and binge eating. Quit. Just quit. Strong emotions lead to eating, and all too often, the emotions that have led us to overeating were brought on by us getting involved in conversations or looking at a social media page or going down a negative thought process that isn't even necessary for us to be involved in or hasn't even come to pass. And by that I mean, stay off social media pages that cause your blood pressure to rise. I don't know how many of you have Apple Watches, but this has been true for me so many times. I'll be looking at a social media page or engaged in an article about something, that can draw lines of conflict, and all of a sudden my watch will go up and it'll go off and it'll remind me that my blood pressure is going up. So it even knows, sometimes before we know, that those things are causing me to, my stress to elevate. And when your stress is elevated, hormones start going, wacko in your brain, and they urge you to go and eat. How many times have you been looking at a social media page that just kind of rubbed you the wrong way, or you got jealous about somebody's progress on social media, or somebody rubbed you the wrong way on there, and all of a sudden you just felt the urge to go get some chocolate or some chips? That is a strategy and a tactic of the devil if I ever saw one. So whether it's jealousy or a difference of opinions, if it's not helping you grow, then go. If a social media page doesn't lead you closer to the Lord, grow you in your health and wellness journey, get off it. Get off it and go somewhere else, and stop making up scenarios that haven't even happened yet. I don't know how many people can say that they do this, but a situation will be in my mind, and before I know it, I have played out that whole entire scenario, and none of it is good. I've played it out to the end. It hasn't happened yet, but in my mind, it has happened, and all of it was bad. And not just bad, but devastating. Devastating. Quit giving Satan space in your head. He doesn't live there. He doesn't live there. all in all, what I want to say to you is this. If you will create a climate of growth in your life where you're on fire for God and you're constantly filling your mind with gratitude, asking yourself the tough questions and not getting tangled up in things that don't matter, you will create a climate where God can thrive, and so can you. So can you. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Just a quick reminder to, if you will, link your Amazon account and your Kroger card to our ministry. So again, Kroger Community Rewards and your Amazon account on smile.amazon.com. You just designate Equip for More Ministries as the ministry that you want Kroger and Amazon to give to, and they will do that. So until next time, I just want to encourage you, if this ministry touches you, or if it's been a blessing to someone you love and you would like to pour into it, you can always text the phrase E4M Give to 1-888-364-4483. Once you set up a one-time giving account, it's easy to come back and support us in the future with just a couple of clicks. But once you text that, you'll be routed to a page that is safe and secure. And again, once you set that up once, it's real easy to come back and support us in the future, or you can set up a recurring donation or gift. If you'd like to read about our vision and our mission, we want you to know what we are on fire for about with God, and what our passion is with health and wellness. So you can check out our website at equipformore.com. Look under the giving page, and you can read our vision and our mission statement and what we plan to do, what we want to do for the kingdom of God. So again, thanks for tuning in. And today, remember, get out there. Go after all God wants for you today. Get out there and grow. And until next time, have a beautiful and healthy day.